Yes, that is what we were saying. Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good day, good morning. How is everyone today? Welcome to this episode 67 of Wobbly Player Syndrome, a 40k podcast brought to you by these four idiots here. Yes, I put myself in that. Damn it, I am an idiot.
Yeah.
I resemble that remark.
Self-awareness is important.
It is. Yeah. Can't get any better unless you start somewhere talking words. Speaking of words,
always start low.
Yes, let's say hello to the people who are here. G'day, Radio Mike.
Hey.
G'day, Safe for Work Mark.
Hey, everybody.
It's got a very clean room in the background. You can't tell if you listen to the podcast, but it's kind of weird and bizarre. And considering we'll go to in his lounge room, not in his bathroom. That is Adam. Hello, Adam.
I've already said hello.
No, but it was during Isabel's resub, which was very loud. I thought I'd turn that down.
Good evening, everyone.
You go. Well done, mate. Well done.
Pat on the back.
I can't even find it. Turn it down. It's great. And thank you, Prona Hill, for the resub as well. Welcome, fellas. Oh, I'm Greg. Or Red Belly. Your choice.
Hi, Greg.
Hi,
Mr. Greg.
Good morning, boys. Good
morning, Mr. Red Belly.
As you can see, professionalism is oozing from this podcast. 67 episodes in, and we know our names. It's good. It's a good start. This episode is called Matter. I barely even knew her. That's right. I hope I got that right, Mark. Did I do it right there? So, is that how you want me to say it?
Seems good.
Mark's not saying anything. And if you are watching...
You nailed it.
Brilliant. If you are watching the stream, you will see there's a new display. I thought I'd spice it up a bit and make it look different. So there you go. For all the people listening, Adam's going to describe what he can see.
Things are moving up and down on the screen. It actually took my attention a bit.
It's not that much movement. The other one had more movement.
Oh no, the little things on the side going up and down. It's just like,
yeah,
I've had to look at the things and gone.
I did forget to factor in the squirrel factor. Yes. Brilliant.
So now I've got to go from Twitch and close that, minimize that. Well, yeah, this is the disadvantage. It's late at night. The ADHD meds have worn off, so I'm like,
Squirrel.
So everyone's doing well. It is late in the month for this podcast. Life events made it difficult to get started, so we are here now. It's putting me under a lot of pressure to edit and upload before the end of the month. So awesome, but we're doing well.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Yeah, good. Mark?
Tired?
Yeah, I'm tired from moving all this junk.
Yeah. It's a good time just to get a skip and throw it all in there and start again.
Yeah, well, I have to keep some of it.
Oh,
Well, do you?
At least the child.
Yeah.
It's all right. It was only yesterday when I took all the stuff that I pulled out of this room to the tip. So you got to do better than me.
Cool.
I don't know. I like. There's a lot off camera over here that is stacked pretty tall.
Nice.
There's a lot over here that is, yeah.
I actually did pull out the stuff that's still boxed to see how bad my grey pile of shame is, and it's not as bad as I thought. But then I realised there's a shelf of assembled grey. I went, oh, damn it! So, yeah, but you're not a hobbyist unless you have a pile of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this month we're going to talk about the meta and chasing it, the never-ending chase of the meta. It's a lot of fun. Everyone does it. No, we don't. But we're going to explore why should you, why is it good, why is it bad, and all things in between. But first, go on. Everyone knows that line in Ren and Stimpy, right? First, I can take a whiz. It's not true, folks. I'm not going to leave you. It's okay. Michael's going to talk about new releases, though, so I will shut up.
Yes. So as was alluded to, some things are just announcements. But they're going on sale this weekend, so that kind of counts. We got Codex Space Marines that is
Huzzah!
going on pre-order this weekend at last, including that cool new captain with the jump pack, which I was surprised to see has so many options. Like, he's got a lot of different equipment options in that kit. Kind of tempted to buy a couple because I want him to have all those cool different weapon options.
Is that
And
why you
I
buy
don't really-
magnets?
Yeah, I could buy magnets or I could buy multiple models, Greg.
Fair
I
enough.
know which
Magnets
one
are so
GW wants
fiddly.
you.
Yeah.
I know.
Depends on the sponsorship we get.
Yeah. No sponsorship, Twitch. It's all good. And then there's the Chaplain in Terminator armor, which surprisingly has options. Like, I'm surprised they're making an option to give him a shield instead of a gun. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh,
Then
it's
we
to
got
go with the assault terminators, though. That'd be why.
Yeah, I guess. I just was surprised that they're giving me a storm shield. It's weird.
He looks a lot slimmer
cool.
than the old Chaplain and Terminator.
It's because he's taller, I suspect.
Or he's wearing black. Makes you thinner. What?
Yeah, black is slimming. Then we got the Company Heroes box, which looks pretty cool, and yet another captain for me to build. Then we have the actual kind of multi-part Terminator squad with extra weapons and stuff, so that should be cool as well. The new jump pack intercessors, which I'm sure Anto will be very excited about.
Yes.
And more green stuff.
Yeah. The Stern Guard veteran squad, so we get the new Stern Guard there, who get Pyre Blasters now, which is funny because I spent all that time pulling apart my old Stern Guard to get rid of their heavy flamers because like the Stern Guard can't have them anymore, and now they basically can. The lieutenant from the Agastus box is going to be available on his own. So is the Brutalis Dreadnought and the Desolation Squad. There's going to be a Combat Patrol Space Marine, which is basically looks like it's Leviathan.
Yeah. So I think all the stuff from the Leviathan box and the one before is now available in his individual kits.
Well, I don't have they actually released those kind of monopose Terminators or anything? Like the new ones are actual proper Terminators. They're not that kit of Terminators.
I thought they were the one from the Leviathan box, because also in the Combat Patrol.
Well, oh yeah, you're right. They are in the Combat Patrol, but the ones that they put up for pre-order look like they have heavy flamers and stuff, which are not.
Well,
Like they have different poses and they
fair
can
enough.
have heavy flamers and different weapons. So I think it is the actual proper Terminator kit, not the one from Leviathan.
Okay.
Same with the Stern Guard. It's the new proper Stern Guard kit, not the one from Leviathan. Based on the pictures I've seen, I don't think either of those is the old one. Although
Fair.
now you've got me doubting myself.
Yeah. Good. I'd like to do that too.
Much to everyone's probable annoyance, we are getting a new packet of data cards for Space Marines to celebrate the release.
Yeah. So let's not get started on that, because one thing you haven't talked about to the new release, because it is late in the month, is the Tyranid Codex and stuff also came out.
Well, yeah, that was going to be later. I've still got, there was so many
all-
heresy. But the heresy stuff came out. So much cool heresy stuff. There's Space Wolves and new plastic knights. The Cerastus Knight Acheron. The Cerastus Knight Castigator. I bought more knights, Greg.
The new knight does look very cool, but the price tag is again, I can't get past that.
Oh my god. I when I saw the price of those plastic knights, I was like, ooh, because I ordered 2 of them and looked at the price and went, oh shit. Then I actually thought about it and checked my buying history, and no, it's a lot cheaper than the resin one was.
See, I'm not that level yet. I'm still only getting the other knights, so that's quite a big jump for me. As cool as those knights are, yeah.
I was like, man, I don't remember the resin one being so much, but that's because it was in pounds. When I translated it into Australian dollars, at the time I bought it, it was $400. So the new ones are not that much, but they're distressingly close. They're like $335 Australian, I think.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But we also got made to order classic terrain. which I was kind of excited for because I wanted to buy a Sky Shield landing pad, and they cost extortion on eBay. So now I can just buy one. But I already have
So
the
it's
Aegis
GW
Defense
extortion
line.
instead.
Yeah, like I've literally been painting the Aegis defense line, and the fucking Imperial Bastion I think is behind me over there.
Yeah.
That I've been painting this in the last 2 months. So all the Wall of Martyrs terrain, I was like, man, have they been like watching my feed and they just decided to re-release everything I've been painting this month? It
Yep.
was really weird.
You are the influencer.
Clearly. So
But
yeah,
yeah, come on, go to
if you wanna
tournaments. Stop talking about stuff coming out. It's meant to be what's new.
That is stuff that was like the pre-order last week.
Yeah,
I've already ordered that stuff. So
but
that
it's
is
not out yet, technically. Come on.
Okay, cool. So other stuff that I think is out by now are the Drakfang Thirsters vampire team. You know, everyone wants to hear about Blood Bowl, right? Okay, maybe not Blood Bowl. How about the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring
You're
Battle in
killing
Vale of
me
Stone?
here.
That came out.
I can mute individuals. I'm sure I can.
Dawnbringer's Book 2 came out.
Does
The
anyone
Age of
else want
Sigmar?
to do new releases and take over?
Did the new Neds come
Okay.
out? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the Codex Tyranids did indeed come out. We got the Norn Emissary, the Norn Assimilator, the Death Leader, the Death Leaper, the Lictor, the Neuralictor, the Gene Stealers, Termagants, Hormagants, Biovore, Pyrovore, the Combat Patrol, the Data Sheet cards, everyone's favorite, and the dice set.
Now, don't get me wrong. The data sheet cards are a brilliant idea, unless you bought them for the index.
It's a real like bummer that those cards get outdated so quickly like that.
Yeah, for the first few codexes, like the Tyranids and Space Marines, yeah, absolutely. For people who'll be
Yeah.
waiting forever, like the Death Guard, okay, you might get some value out of it. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I bought the World Eater one, Orcs, and I think I've got another one, a Demons one.
yeah,
I'm not
Yeah,
going to
like-
see codex for those three for a very long time. So
Death Guard wasn't even on the list, so yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
I don't think Votan were on the list either. But I got the ones for like my, for the Marines and for the Death Guard for my son, and the Tyranids for my other son, not the
Yeah.
Tyranids, the Necrons for my other son. And yeah, they're outdated already, being replaced already. It's a bit of a
this
shitter.
a vindication
Yeah.
of the people who went out and printed their own?
I mean, I've got use out of them. It was cool. Like, they're really, really useful to have as a reference thing. I like the idea of them. It's just a bit of a shitter.
Can you
know?
scribble on them with like a marker and update them?
One could
You
conceivably
probably could do
just
that. Just want to say hello to Roller's Board Game, who said yo yo because he's young and hip.
It's not like a yo-yos are kind of a game.
yeah, all over it.
There is rolling. So yeah, that was a cool thing that came out. All that cool Tyranid stuff. We also got the Space Marine Vanguard Task Force, and the Captain with Relic Shield and Lieutenant with Storm Shield, and
I'm
the
noticing
Master of
that-
Possession.
I'm noticing there's a lot of captains going.
Man.
Well, they ran out of lieutenants.
Yeah,
have to promote them.
that's kind of where I was going with that one.
Yeah, like, well, those guys are the fucking guys from Indomitus have finally been released individually.
Wow.
Yes,
that-
good.
Captain and Lieutenant.
Don't forget
And
the
they
other
also-
new release. Sorry, go on.
The other ones, yeah, the Felgor Ravagers, the Hand of the Archon, the Hearthkin Salvagers, and the Inquisitorial Agents for Kill Team.
No, I was going to say the paywall for the app.
Ah, yeah, I heard about that.
You now, thanks to the new Codex of Tyranids, you now have to pay for Battleforge on the app.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that sucks.
Okay. I
I haven't checked that.
anger at GW intensifies.
Yeah, I thought it was, from what I've heard, they also took down the Tyranid Index from
Correct.
the website when the Tyranid Codex came out.
Yeah.
So they're
Well,
going
we
to take down
expected
the
that,
Space
though.
Marine Index. I honestly didn't think they would. I was like, why not just leave that up there
Because it's
as
wrong.
an intro? But it's wrong and it's old, but that means it's a good intro.
Well, they
for
can use the
people. They don't
Combat
have to
Patrol.
immediately buy it.
They use the
I guess
Combat
they
Patrol
use
as the
Combat
intro.
Patrol. But I was just like, in second edition, they didn't fucking, get rid of the black book. You still had that to make armies for if you didn't have the codex.
Yeah.
But my War Gear cards were out of date pretty quick.
My cardboard orc
Which
dreadnought.
I found the other day actually during this move. I found like half a dozen of those old War Gear cards.
Nice.
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 Mine are all sitting in the Dark Millennium box.
Yeah. Oh, the other
Back in
big
the
release
day-
that I was excited about was the Pariah Nexus animated show. Episode 1 came out, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, is it good?
Yes. Of course it's good. Salamander's in it.
Okay.
Man, I
I've-
have
I've-
not watched. Sorry.
The only news I've been really stoked for has been the Rogue Trader release date in December on
Yep.
the 7th for Northern Hemisphere peeps, and for those of us in the future on the 8th.
That is exciting. It does look very good.
That is pretty exciting. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the Warhammer Plus animations because, like, I don't pay for it, so I don't get them, and I haven't gone and found an alternate method of doing it.
I haven't been able to find an alternate method of doing it, so they're clamping down pretty hard on that.
Yeah. So you know what I did watch today while working from home? Working very hard. Ultramarine, the 40k movie.
Oh yeah, I have a collector's edition of that
Why?
because it was cool.
It was good at
man.
the time, man. It was a space marine there on your screen.
It was supposed to be good.
I still
mean,
enjoy it. It's bad, but I still enjoy it.
I love my Ultramarines, but yeah, like I did draw the line at that.
There's an Imperial Fist in there as well.
One.
Yeah, and
Magician's
Black
is-
Legion. 2 Imperial Fists, because
I-
one of them's a
I-
chaplain.
I guess if you're a fan of the Chaos Marines, maybe.
Yeah. I can't believe
yeah,
the
nah.
actors they got in for that, though. These aren't no-name actors. Terrence Stamp, John Hurt, and others.
Man, I forgot John Hurt was in that.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I'm gonna have to dig it up again.
See? Now you're intrigued.
Like,
Yeah.
how did he get into that?
It's
You
what
occasionally
happened.
Get that though.
Yeah.
You get like surprisingly, like badly made things that get these amazing actors because they just have these. They just like slap them in the face with a wad of cash or something.
Either that or like it was one of those things where they got drunk at a pub. And went, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And then 3 days later they wake up and they realise they've recorded a movie.
Or they signed a contract. I'm
Was
being
it-
paid $10 for this.
I was about to say, was that written by Abnett?
It was.
Because that'd be how they got Hurt. Because Abnett would know Hurt through Doctor Who, wouldn't he?
Sure.
Abnett's written a bunch of Doctor Who stuff as well,
Okay.
and Hurt's a Doctor Who actor.
Okay.
But that he might not have been. No, that was really recent that he was on that. Maybe he was. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm
just like,
moving
there's
on.
there's a lot of relationship between some of these actors and like the 40.
It had to be. I know someone. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had to be. Do me a favor, mate. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. What do we do? Hobby progress. Sure.
Yes.
Adam, did you have anything?
I took a photo of something. Oh, Imperial Fists.
That was a nice segue there. That transition.
Yes.
Yeah. I told you. I've made it fancy for you
Oh, yeah.
podcast
My
listeners.
My whole Blaster squad, I've almost finished them. I've just got to do the base thing. The aggressors, I played around with that fluoro paint. That I
yeah.
got from Jolt. It didn't make a photo, but yeah, it came out really well, nice and bright green it was. And you don't have my photo, which I did.
You're welcome.
The photo of
Oh,
Abaddon
the
out, but-
collage you made.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because I didn't. Because I didn't know if you would like me to do that because it wasn't your work.
It was my work.
No, because
was-
the teachers are listening, so it was not your work.
Okay. One of the photos was my work. How's that?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
But yeah, I'm slowly going through my. I've just got to sit myself down and just do it while I'm studying and stuff like that. But yeah, my Imperial Fists are starting to get along. I may be finishing by the 11th edition. But I will get the Chaos. I will get the Space Marines Codex and see if they've got anything special for Imperial Fists, which they probably won't.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I mean, from what I've been hearing about the Space Marines Codex, it's pretty.
So it sounds
Pretty
like that
good.
all the factions are in there.
Yeah,
So
Basically.
yeah,
and they've done all these crazy like detachment rules.
yeah.
and
So
all
there's
sorts
one
of
that will
stuff.
suit each. There is one that's they say 4 Imperial Fists will suit
Okay.
them.
Yeah,
Same as there's
yeah.
one that Salamanders will be suited, and even I think the Raven Guard and White Scars pretty much might be using the same one. They could be used for both. So
Well, I'm gonna have to get in, paint some on the weekend then.
yeah.
I've got
Alright.
my orc sitting in a box next to me, by the way.
What have I got? I have not done a lot of hobbying. I've been working on the knight. The knight itself is done. I'm now working on the base for the knight. Some of these shots are pre-weathering. That is not. That is weathering. You can see the rust and stuff like that. Some of it I enjoyed. I try to use inks. I try to use other stuff, oils and stuff like that too. So there's pre making it a mess. But the nights are a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. There's the pilot. He's not having a good day. His insides are not meant to be on his outsides, but yeah. What do? You're chaos, mate. Deal with it.
He's a leaf on the wind.
That's it. That's it. I should have put that big stick through him. Yeah, that's it. So hopefully I'll get finished. The base will get finished soon. I'll put up photos of how I'm doing the base step by step because I'm doing another water feature of that. I'm even trying to learn how to do splashes, so that should be interesting. We've got next. Oh, that's Anthony. He's done some Blood Angel stuff. And more Blood Angel stuff. Look at
These
them.
Blood Angels are going
I
crazy.
love the
with
Kit
Gravis.
Bash jump packs, and I would have loved to have been in the room when he saw the like assault jump pack guys.
Alright. Michael, did it work? If I press the button harder? There it is. Oh, that's
yeah.
old. That looks old.
Yeah, those are old. That's stuff I did ages ago.
Let's go back to have a look at the Blood Angels and let me fix that.
You got last month's slideshow.
I did. That was just so good. We wanted to see it again. There you go. Beaky with a fist.
Cool. Yeah, I was while I was cleaning, I found a big pile of unassembled Firstborn, and so I was going through building Crimson Fists and Blood Angel Firstborn and Black Templar Firstborn, and fixing up all of my old Firstborn, putting a bunch of them on the new bases, giving them legal loadouts for 10th, and also fixing up my Leagues of Votan so that their warrior squads are actually correct because they made it so you can't have a squad of 20, you have to have squads of 10. So I needed to get the second 10 and give them, leaders and thanes and all that shit. So
Yeah.
I had to fix that up. Building old limited edition models I have, like all of the old chaplains and terminators and all that stuff. Just kind of going through and clearing out a big pile of unbuilt stuff. Oh yeah, I built more Devastator squads for my Dark Angels that I had laying around and kept intending to do. Like, just lots and lots of catching up on piles of old unbuilt stuff that I found. I've still got... I found like a box entirely full of like unbuilt bloody drop pods. So I've got like 6 or 7 drop pods to build, as well as like 3 rhinos, a couple of chimeras, like heaps of stuff.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Now, I'm assuming I had nothing for Mark, so I didn't go to Mark's screen.
Yeah, I painted some walls.
Well, you should take a photo of that. We'll put it up as your hobby progress.
Yeah. It's a white wall.
I started painting the lion, but like I didn't have the Corvus black, so I had to wait to get the black in.
Oh.
Now I've got it, and I haven't got back to painting him again.
It's usually how it happens. I hate stopping.
Got to paint the other one as well,
Yeah. Very
and
good.
learn
Very
how to
good.
paint their Night Lords.
Now, for people who are watching this via the Twitch stream, I have got a notification saying an ad is coming up. Please let me know when that happens. And we'll talk about all the important stuff during that ad so you miss it. Alright, so let's move on to battle reports now. I don't think there is any, but let's find out.
I don't think.
That is a game of Eldar versus Custodes. So that'd be Anthony and Chris. We'll look at the pictures. Aren't they pretty? I believe even with the Eldari balance sheet, still kicked the Custodes' butt. Eldari.
Well,
they're a dying race, right? Could it be quicker?
Oh, the Eldari.
Well, aren't the Inari trying to speed things up?
Yeah, well, they're the ones who said, isn't that them put the souls and let the Dark Angels look after it? That was what the plan was,
I
wasn't it?
really wish that storyline would actually progress.
It didn't, though, did
Yeah.
it? I don't think there's
It
any...
might, in the upcoming codex, it might actually. Who knows?
Was that this month or was that last month? Next.
Oh, me. Who am I? I'm playing my son in that picture, I think.
Yep. I think it's last month.
It could be last month. I'm trying to remember because I've played a couple of games at 10th. I played with my son Alex. I played a game at 10th showing Nathan the rules, but I can't remember if I talked about either of those last month.
We'll
that
say
was,
no.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was my
Possible.
Crimson Fists versus my son's Death Guard.
Very good. And?
And it was an interesting game. It was a very slow game because we were both trying to get our head around the rules. And he had Plague Burst crawlers and all kinds of cool stuff. So he kind of was womping on me a bit with that. But I was kind of out shooting his infantry, but he was very tough, but he just couldn't deal any damage, which seems to be a Death Guard problem.
Welcome to Death Guard.
Yeah.
Now with Balance Slate, though, whew, you can get a swarm army of Death Guard. Right. So that's our regular stuff. I'm looking to see when this ad's coming in for all the rest of the viewers.
At the moment, I have not seen
All right,
that.
you'll let me know then. You're a subscriber, so you won't see the ad.
Oh.
So it's all up to Mark.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen anything for that.
It's all good. Well, we're going to have our short little break to say hi to our friends who do not sponsor us in any shape or form. There's no monetary value. We just like to say hi. Next time, I'm actually going to press the right button and we'll say hi to them properly. Let me try that again.
We are Rollers, and we have the games for you. Be it board games, card games, dice games, or party games. You name it, and we have it. Find us online at rollersboardgames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at rollersboardgames.
From acoustic to distortion, Storyboard Concept is music that's honest, relaxing, and full-bore rockin' music. Follow Colin at storyboardconcept.bandcamp.com.
So many things that I should be doing instead of building the piles of blood angels that I've been doing.
So that's the type of stuff we like hearing when people first come in. The rambling about blood angels he should have been doing. We are back from our little, hey, thank you for our music, and thanks Rollers Board Games, who happens to be here with a yo-yo and a happening. Yeah, cool. So now we get to talk about our topic of the month, which is, what is it called, Mark?
Meta, I barely knew her.
And we're talking about the meta, the chasing the meta in particular. We all know Eldar is well and truly on top, and we're all familiar that Voltaren is good for pain relief.
Not sponsored.
Latest... Everyone's a
Votan.
big fan of my latest army, Voltaren Emil Gel.
And when they're on bikes, Voltaren Rapid.
Yes.
Oh, that's just derailed everything.
Yep, I've lost it. So,
So Leagues of Votan.
yes, that's
Yep.
them.
The Leagues of Votan are not for oral use.
No, you should probably not smear them on your joints either.
Ask your doctor.
Right. Let's get back to it. Can we redo this? No one's listening, right? Shh, quiet. Eldari on top. Imperial Knights are on top. Down the bottom we have Leagues of Votan, Admech, Death Guard, and there's a huge gap between the two. GW always comes out and they say they want to have, trying to make it as balanced as possible to have a fairly small gap between win-loss ratios, which is not in play at the moment. They did recently bring out a data slate update, which is good timing for our podcast because it will impact people's armies, as I was mentioning before. Death Guard are so cheap now thanks to the point drop. I now have a swarm army of Death Guard. It's really weird. And it doesn't feel right either.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who've been not happy with what it looks like they want Votan to do, because it looks like they want Votan to play as a swarm army, and that's not really supported by the law at all.
Well, I like the idea of the mass lurching death decay coming at you, horde thing. That makes sense. Of poxwalkers more so.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it was very much the Death Guard tactic during the heresy.
Yeah.
You know, just throw endless waves of infantry at them because they didn't care.
Yeah, and I mean, even post heresy, that was kind of their thing. Horde of zombies.
Yeah, 9th, 8th, I was here are my 40 poxwalkers. Have fun with that, and I'll go do something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
So yeah, but when it's like, oh yeah, custodes, yeah, we'll put 50 of them down on the table. Yeah, it's
We're not paying 10,000 point game, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, so my World Eaters army got 150 points cheaper. Because they were quite expensive at the start. My Demons army that I played you, Greg, exactly the same fours,
Yeah.
is now at 1815 points. So they become cheaper.
Yeah.
Obviously they suck,
so.
but they got cheaper.
Yeah, so they're down at the bottom as well, Chaos Demons.
Oh, yeah.
So did any of you entertain the idea of selling your army and buying a new one
So,
to
let's-
ace the meta?
Let's define what meta chasing is first,
Mm.
and then we'll answer that question. What is meta chasing, Adam?
Obviously looking, was just looking at my army, which I've got a list. Obviously going through and looking at the tournament lists and going, I can field that or I can build that, and then playing off that. Who has the most amount of shots? What's the best AP in my eyes?
Yeah.
But
and
it's not
it's
even.
The next level to that is, Mark?
It's not even sort of just looking at the tournament list. It's going full math hammer on the rules set and rules lawyering it and crafting, what you think is going to be the best thing on the face of the earth, and then changing depending on how the balance changes in the game.
I feel like the most common meta chasing is not even that as much as cookie cuttering what is successful
they'll
in
just
tournaments.
go, this was number one at the LVO.
Yeah.
Bam, that's what I'm buying. And then
Yeah.
when that what is winning changes, you change.
That
Yeah.
again just said that spamming multiple units that work all the time.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
the 6
Yeah.
Storm Ravens in 8th and
Yeah, and
all
C4
those
Dark may
other-
let us know he's having Chinese. So, both very important inputs from the
Absolutely
viewers.
the most important one.
So yeah, meta chasing. Yeah, if you see a winning list, that is what I'm going to go buy. So if it's a winning list of buying 3 grav, what are they called? Falcon grav tanks.
Mm.
Did I get that right? And that's the winning
Yeah.
combination. I go out and buy 3 grav tanks
Yeah.
to become that number 1 player. Just want to point out, just because you have the number 1 list doesn't mean you're going to be the number 1 player. You have to know how to use it.
Yeah. That's That's the thing. So a lot of people who do that kind of stuff, they fail
an
to
ad.
comprehend that. Oh, the ad's up now.
The ad's up now.
Ad is up now.
So that's the ad break. We're just going to talk a little bit to wait for other people to come back. It says it's going to end in 40 seconds.
It's
So
a
all you
40
subscribe.
second long ad. Wow.
Yeah, we used to have control. We do not now.
Yeah, it was something like a bank thing, and now it's Gucci.
So all you
or something.
subscribers, you get to listen to us ramble during an ad break. That's value for money right there.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, 30
this
seconds.
is the secret paid content you get to find about the deep lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like watching a Vodafone ad and
Yeah.
about the iPhone and
That's all right. I had to buy myself like an arseless athletic supporter to get back into heavy armored fighting. That's a weird piece of kit.
there's some weird
I
ads. on
wish
here.
the ad
There's
had
like
finished then.
a Reese's ad, and it's like a shoe being filled with caramel. Anyway, we're back.
We're back. Okay, we're back from the ad break. Thank you. If you do want to avoid the ads, you can hit that subscribe button and you will listen to us ramble for that 30 seconds of an ad break and learn about stuff we probably didn't want to know about, Michael.
Yeah, you too can find out weird stuff about my medieval fighting kit.
Yeah, and what he has to wear or what he doesn't have to wear.
So
Well, I do
anyway.
like to wear a kilt.
So meta chasing. So League of Votan was a big one in 9th edition. When the Votan came out and they became unstoppable, you could not buy Votan kits for love of money because everybody jumped on board that train.
Yep, they're even
Yeah.
3D printing them.
Yeah, it was a bit of a double whammy, that one. There wasn't a lot of stock, and they were super popular.
Yeah. They were super popular because they were winning. And
Yeah.
not just winning. They were
They were
smashing.
crazy good.
Yeah. To the point, what is it? Some of the GTs banned them?
Yeah,
Because it was so
they got
unbalanced?
banned. They got banned before they got released in like
Yeah.
the European GT, didn't
Yeah,
they?
and I think they were nerfed inside the first week.
They were nerfed before they officially came out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because there was the pre-release box set,
That's right.
and the codex hadn't even actually been released when they got nerfed. Like, the codex was wrong when it actually came out.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. And now in 10th edition, we have
Everyone's selling all of their Votan.
Votan's been sold.
Buying Eldar.
Yeah. So, yeah, Eldari, Custodes, and Imperial Knights. They're the top 3 armies by a long way. If I was planning ahead, I would have had that list in front of me. But, you know, professionalism. Give me till episode 167. I'll be good. So we worked out what it is. It's chasing the winning lists, the winning armies, going out buying, dropping everything, go buy this list, go buy this army to win everything.
Mm-hmm.
Does it work?
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
if they're a good player, it can work.
I mean, enough
Like-
people do it. It must work.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily follow. I guess a bad player can use it as a crutch, like buy the best thing and make up for the fact that they're not tactically very good by having a more powerful army and letting someone else do the thinking for them. That is a thing that does sometimes happen. Like, you occasionally run into a guy who's got a meta list but doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah.
I think we had that once with my demons in the Slaanesh one, that we found this list, and I think Greg, you sent me the list, and I
I
went,
did.
and I
So
went,
you should try
I-
this.
Yeah, exactly. And I went, I have all of those things, but I've never thought about playing them. And oh my gosh, it was really spent, like, it was a fun army to play, but it was not really, it was one-sided if I remember correctly. Playing against you, it was just all Greater Keeper of Secrets. At last edition, it just tabled everything. But I went, I would never pay that amount of money for 4 Keepers of Secrets unless I had them. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, I don't like doing that.
To chase it. Yeah.
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 If I have it, yeah, but I'm not going to go out of my way and get it.
Oh, I
should get
agree.
it.
If Death Guard became the top army, I'd be going, awesome, I have that army, but I'm not going to go buy an Eldari army to try and be a number one player because A, I don't play tournaments. B, I've got too many armies as it is, and that's an expensive way to buy a win.
I've got Eldari in my cupboard.
Yeah, I've got knights. I just clean it. I just wash the mud off them, and they're Imperial Knights.
Yeah. Just cleanse them a little bit.
That's it.
I mean, if
That's
I wanted to win
intense.
games, I'd be using the Knights, but I haven't used them in like ages.
Yeah.
Well, they're apparently in the meta now, so you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know,
I don't think the Knights have ever been bad, have they?
I know
They weren't.
They've had lulls.
Yeah,
They weren't always on top, but they haven't. I don't think they've ever
That-
been bad.
They weren't with the addition of the random cards, Tempest of War. They weren't
Oh,
great
yeah.
because you don't have enough to move around on the table to get the objectives, and it wasn't all about I've tabled you, and the other team goes,
Yeah.
so what? I got all my secondaries, so I win. When it was you're tabled, you lose. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just reading the commentary. Darkman's just noticed I have a lot of hats. Yes, I do have a lot of hats. That you can see 6 of them. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 24 on the wall over there. So, and there's a bucket of hats. I like hats.
The
Yeah.
answer is always millinery.
Like hats. That's totally derailed my thinking. Awesome. Thanks, Darkman. All right, let's talk about how does GW trying to fix this big discrepancy in the meta?
It really seems to come down to really frequent balance updates. And I guess if you're a meta chaser, it is an issue because you can go from month to month and then go, this combo that I've just spent all this money on is useless, and I have to go buy a whole new army or new cards or new, stuff
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
it's obvious to some extent that GW's, quarterly balance changes definitely affect the meta chasers because you see things like when all those new orc buggies came out.
Oh, yes.
Every man and his dog went out and bought a bajillion Dakar jets. And
Yep.
then Games Workshop were like, no, you can only have rule of 3, get fucked. And then you saw a billion of them for sale on eBay and on the things because
Yeah.
all of the meta chasers got rid of all of them except the 3 they were allowed to use. So you could get really cheap Dakar jets for a while there.
The same as you said with the Votan when they got nerfed. Suddenly they became very easy to find on eBay. But what have they done with 10th edition? Like, you bring out an index, it's never going to be perfect, right? Because you don't want it perfect now, because then why would you buy a codex?
Yeah.
Right?
The indexes were always temporary.
Yeah. And I do see people having a lot of grief over that. It said, index are a starting point. This is to get us playing. They're not going to be perfect. Your codex is meant to be a refined version of that.
Yeah, I mean, the counter argument to that is some of us aren't going to get a codex for years.
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah. So how do you fix
You
that?
know.
Yeah. So data slates,
Well-
point reductions,
Yeah.
change of wording and rules. Towering is a big change in the data slate that came out, which does impact the Imperial Knights. Unfortunately, it also impacts Chaos Knights, who weren't in the top tier. But yeah,
Well, they should have thought about that before they became evil.
yeah.
Heresy has a price.
They
Yeah.
shrunk 2 foot.
Yeah.
The wages,
with
the
hearts.
wages of sin are shit rules.
I know. What they have to do is have individual names.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank,
You know,
George,
Deep
Mary.
Strike.
Dennis,
Oh, right. Yeah. G'day, Buddy Minis. Buddy
It's
Minis has made a very good point. It will never be balanced. And it's true. It will never be balanced. You can get competitive Because at the moment, there's a big difference between. I'm sorry, Dead Again, and he's an Eldari player. The Eldari taking on Leagues of Votann is not a competitive play.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between expecting it to be perfectly balanced and expecting it to be, as you say, competitive, not meaning like competitive, but it's not a total walkover.
Yeah.
Based on the armies.
I think the big issue you have with the meta chasers is that they go for that unfair advantage, and then they get really bent out of shape when the balance comes through and even validates that, and then they see it as, well, I have to start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, because I did mention that Dead Again is an Eldari player. He's not a meta chaser. He's had Eldari for a long time. Just because they're now good, he's a very happy man about it.
Yeah, well, and see, that's like me with Tyranids. Tyranids have been rubbish for years and years and years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, wow, I was like, hey, I'm doing damage and winning and not bleeding on people to death.
Yeah, it's like when Deathwing were good. I was like, oh, cool. I've always had Deathwing, but that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, because of the speed at which we can update these things now, because it's not like the old days where you had to print the books to get the updates. Now they just fly out a new PDF data sheet and bam, your rules are updated. So, like, in the old days, the meta chasers could get away with their army for potentially years of stomping people until until an update came. Whereas now, it can be weeks.
Yeah. Just want to shout out to some of the chat. We had one of the changes of the rules, so devastating wounds being changed, so it doesn't flow over, is a very big change, and it will affect Eldari and a whole lot of armies as well, so not just them. Buddy Minis, there is fun to be had in it being unbalanced. Correct.
100%.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you're just playing chess. You want differences, because otherwise it's a very boring tabletop.
Yeah, no one wants everything to be the same.
No.
But as has been said in the private group, it's not fun when your army sucks all the time.
True. True.
Yeah.
Sounds like me playing orcs.
If we can minimize the bullshit, that's not fun kind of losses, that kind of,
Yeah. And
it can be fun to lose. It also generally it feels better when you know why you lost.
Yeah.
Or if you manage to get explosions.
Yes.
Yes, when everything blows up and kills everything, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, or perils.
Yeah. So
Or perils and explosions.
It's not a real such. Yeah, perils just, I don't feel as an event anymore. Social games, right, is different to GT games, obviously, tournament games. So yeah, Buddy's many saying, he's swearing. The auto mod has caught him. He's trying to break chat. So I'll let him through. To balance it out, play a scenario. Yep, that's one way of doing it. What other ways are there to balance this meta out?
I mean,
Agreements when you're playing someone, like if like when we both play, you just have agreements.
Things like, banning Forge World unless by player agreement, or, things like that. It's really sort of, I guess.
I always get bugged by those, like, generic bans, though, like, when, like, no Forge World units, and I'm like, yeah, but I have a bunch of Forge World units that aren't overpowered.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Banning Legends, and it's like, not everything in Legends is actually good. So it's literally just like, hey, if things are shit, maybe don't take them. Like, try changing up your army list. Don't just use the same thing over and over again.
Oh yeah, but
it's the biggest counter to it.
See, the other thing though is that, again, you'll have these meta chaser types, and they'll go and buy, half a dozen of that, get stuffed I win type unit from Forge World,
Yeah,
And,
we
you
had
know,
one local guy. I remember he paid me to build him a bunch of the Forge World Scathrak Wraith Knights, because he wasn't very good with the modeling stuff. So I built them for him, and then like a month later, I saw him selling them on a buy swap sell to buy knights, and then a month later, I saw him selling the knights. Just literally whatever was most powerful, churning them through.
Yeah, I guess look, if that's how you want to play, and that's fine with you. If you're playing tournaments and that's what you want to go to do, I think in social games, casual games, that's a bit much. But that's personal opinion. I won't call you a dick to your face unless you're a dick.
But again, I mean, all of these type of players tend to congregate into a tournament.
So we've got to be
because
careful because not
they're
all
in it
tournament players are meta chasers. We're talking about there's a small. I don't think meta chasing is a big thing in tournaments. I think there are a lot of tournament players. You see some of the recent winnings are with Chaos Marines, Space Marines. So they're not meta. So I think there are people out there who are legitimately trying. Like
100%.
we've got a tournament coming up in October. I'm taking Death Guard to prove a point they don't suck.
But
If I get one win, I prove myself right.
But I would say that it's fair to say that there's a fair percentage of tournament players that are into that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the meta chasing thing requires them to have that win and to have that that recognition that the tournament affords you, as opposed to playing against me. You win a casual game against me, nobody's paying attention.
I've got my shirt over my head screaming about the place, mate. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I went to a tournament, but back when I did used to go, you did see more meta chasers at the tournament than you would outside of the tournament.
No, I
probably. Sorry.
No, sorry, you keep going. I talk a lot.
I was just going to say, probably because, like, in a social situation, you can kind of choose who you play. Tournament, not so much.
True.
Because, you rock up and you see somebody who's got the bullshit units, and you go, well, hang on. Whereas when you're at a tourney, you're like, oh, shit, I have to play this round or I'm out,
Well, you don't. I think there's big... Well, what I've been reading, listening to about a lot of the tournaments is if there's players like that and you just pick up your game, so done. Unless you're going there to take top spot to win, if it's not fun, just don't do it. You're meant to be the idea is meant to have fun, right?
Yeah, like
and then find some loaded dice in the toilet. But the idea is to have fun.
Yeah, like the last tournament I went in, I did that. Like at one of my games, I looked at the opponent's army and I was like, yeah, there's no point, man. You win. Congratulations. I'm gonna go get some lunch. Bye.
You've got to question the satisfaction that person gets out of that, right? Yeah,
he was really upset about it.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. He could have been. It could have been the first time he's taken that unit out. He's done this list or got this list and stuff. Going, yeah, but never played it. It could be his first time. You don't want to play, but I haven't tried this yet. I will come back to the chat in a moment because you've got some very good points I want to bring up.
Yeah, let's just miss Buddy Minnie's comment about Wales. We're leaving Wales alone.
Just being careful.
Didn't even see it.
We're not tarring the all tournament players with this brush here because it just happens to be an environment that encourages these people.
Well, I think they're getting towards that win at all cost type player, which generally aren't the ones you want the most fun to play against, and that's where that will lean to it.
I mean, like,
don't feather them. Sorry.
I feel like the most annoying place to find meta chasers is when you see them showing up into those, like, at the local store to stomp newbies who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they don't just exist. They don't just exist in tournaments.
No,
it's just you're more likely to see them and have to deal with them there, outside of your normal social area. Because if one person in your social group is doing something that no one else likes, you'll usually sit down and have a chat to them and be like, "Man, this isn't fun."
Yeah.
Maybe
Is this why I haven't had any games lately?
Yeah, but you're missing out the winning part, Adam. Ooh.
Is that what I'm doing wrong?
Well, you've got Tau, Chaos, Demons, both bottom tier armies at the moment. Yeah, you're not helping yourself, are you?
It's all right. I can't even win the
Orcs.
wooden spoon properly this year.
So I want to go back to some of the chat because I do, as I said, I'm taking Death Guard to the tournament in October, and I'm taking it as a challenge to prove people wrong that they're the worst army. And a couple of people in the chat, Buddy Mini is, I've lost it now. No, what'd you say? It's better to win with an army that's harder to play. Yeah, gives yourself the challenge. There are people out there who want to have that challenge and find.
100%. But there's some people that all that matters to them is that win stat.
Yeah. Darkmane, there's people who like to break the meta. It's kind of personal challenge. Again, same along the same lines. Okay, Death Guard, Chaos Demons, Tau, they're not the greatest armies. Let's build a list to actually challenge that. Yeah. It can be hard when they're overpriced or, they come up Eldari the first game. But
Or
I keep picking on
don't
Eldari. I
have
should
stock.
choose a different one. Custodes is also up there. Because otherwise we'll never
Right.
see Dead again.
I think we all wish that Games Workshop's balance guys would also choose a different one. It always seems to be Eldari who get the OP Codex.
And then everybody else gets a progressively more bullshit one after.
Yeah, the old power creep. Gotta love it.
October tournament. Yes. Grim Dark. I think it's called Grim Dark. That the one, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grim Dark. That our mate Scotty D is hosting at Jolt. We've decided to give it a whirl. See how it goes. Holy crap! That's only like 2 weeks away, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh shit!
I gotta say, I was considering going in that, but now I'm having to prepare for a much more physical tournament.
Is it the one after the public holiday? Is it?
I think so.
Well, I'm not going to be there, so you'll be all by yourself.
Oh, son of a. I mean, I'm excited. Death Guard.
'Cause that's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
Just be
is it?
disgustingly resilient and you'll be good.
Right, I will be the most
that's when-
disgusting one there.
Because that's when PAX is, if it's like around the 6th of October.
Oh, PAX is around the corner. Look, we're being derailed. Oh, who did that this time? Dead again. Son of a. Why do we have chat? Alright, where are we? Meta chasers. Alright, so it is I feel that it is a small percentage of people out there who are those more win at all costs. More often you'll find them in tournaments than you'll find them in casual play, but that is not just there. We did have one person in our group who would be borderline to that, play every good unit, no bad unit to the max and stuff. And yeah, they're no longer with the group. It's been a while, can't even remember the name, and I'm okay with that. What happens to these people? It sounds really bad. To these people. What happens to the meta chasers? I think I'll prefer that because otherwise it sounds like I'm going to have a pitch. When that does change, like this Imperial Knights, for example, towering. So towering is quite a big hampering of the ability of the Imperial Knights to shoot over terrain. That's what they can do. I see you, I shoot over you. Now they can't. They've got to be basically standing on top of the terrain, touching it to be able to do the same thing. So they no longer have that firing arcs of anywhere on the table. Big change for them. I can't say I've seen a lot of Imperial Knights up for sale. But what happens to players? What are those meta chasers going to do when those big changes happen? My Eldari are now the bottom tier.
Well, the first stage is anger, and at which point they whinge on whatever forum that their rules are now invalidated, and how could they do this to me, and all of that kind of stuff. Then the second stage is selling all their stuff, and then next stage is, right, what is currently the best thing that I can go back to stomping people with?
So yeah,
It's the 3 R's. You know, that first stage is Reddit, and then you've got resale, and then you've got research.
that's it.
Research, really?
Yeah, they got to research what the new hotness is.
And
Yeah.
then GW goes profit.
Yeah.
That
Or
works.
or GW just goes, what do we have all of Lotto's stock that we got to get rid of? I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, they've
Yeah,
done that.
New
Yeah.
codex for the,
Oh, there's no hidden agenda in how they do their point systems. This unit's too popular. Make that more expensive. This one isn't. Bring that points down. We already know that. That's it. Yeah. I always find it fascinating for people who are meta chasers and decide, okay, Leagues of Votan are the new hotness. I'm going to build a 2,000 point army by the next GT, which is in 2 weeks. Get fucked. How? What? No.
Some of them get really adept at building armies very quickly, and some of them just pay someone to do it.
yeah. I do notice that some of these guys do tend to be the commission painting type, where they just go, right, I'll spend this many thousand on models, and I'll spend this many thousand on getting them built up for me, and
So I want to touch on that. Are they part of the hobby community then?
I mean, they can't be a useful way of getting secondhand models, provided that the secondhand models you get from them aren't badly assembled and badly painted and are actually salvageable.
I mean, they are playing the game, so
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, they're part of the hobby. They might not be, 100% on board with the, plastic crack painting and assembling everything, but yeah, I mean,
Or the law?
and they do fill a niche. It's a bit like the people who lease a car every 3 years or whatever. In terms of that kind of thing, where they're always on for the newest, the craziest, overpowered stuff, and then they cast off the rest at $1 a model for the rest of us who,
Yeah, they've kind of they're a thing that's always been. Like in all the hobbies I've been in, they're a thing. 20 years ago when I was playing competitive Magic: The Gathering, there were those guys with net lists that would buy the latest cards every time, and then they would sell them as soon as they got nerfed or changed or went out of the cycle. Same thing in 40k. They've always kind of been there. Those guys who buy whatever's good and sell whatever's not.
Yeah. I think, for my memory, 7th Ed was probably the worst case of meta chasing with all the detachment types, because you only ever saw basically one detachment, which is, I can't remember what it was. It was the one that won all the time. And if you tried anything different, you go, I do remember getting to a point, and I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about a Chaos Khorne Demon army. It was all hounds, essentially. Just all hounds. And I'm going, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, well, that was basically the army that made Nathan stop playing tournaments. He took a dog bomb army. He did that.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was no fun. I hated it. I hated every minute of playing that tournament. I did really well. Could have won, but I fucking hated it.
Yeah. Makes a difference. Solmac. Welcome, Solmac. How you going? Meta players are in everything now. That is the way of things. It is in online gaming, and yeah, it's getting bad. Yeah, it's true. Pay to win is definitely very fluent in online gaming.
and they're quite happy to take your money for it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like GW is going, no, don't buy them all at once. Just hold on to your army now.
Yeah, and I mean, who hasn't run into that? Like, speaking of something from the chat there about the better people who lose, who hasn't run into someone in online gaming where they see what loadout you've got and they're like, why are you using that? That's shit. And then you fucking annihilate them because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So I missed Buddy Mini saying, sure, competitive players are not the majority. No, I don't think meta chasing is. I think you'll see it more often there because you'll see them more win at all costs. Or maybe it's because you'll see more of them there because they're more centralised in one event.
There's also a certain amount of wealth involved too, because like throwing out an army and then buying another one isn't.
Oh my God.
Isn't exactly the cheapest way to play the hobby.
You're not going to get your retail value of what you bought it for unless you're buying them pre-owned.
Yeah.
But then, good luck trying to find some things. Yes, I have more than one army, but it's over more than a decade.
Yeah. It's like I don't know many people who could afford to really hardcore keep up with it.
No.
No.
Like when I was a kid, there was that one kid who could afford to do it because his parents had heaps of money. No one else could do it.
And it might be that you have the slightly less wealthier elements that want to get into that kind of thing are the people that tend to moan most about the rules changing because they go, oh well, I bought
Now I've
this
got to
thing
get the
and
money together to buy a new
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
All right. So what? Excuse me. What about when you do have an army who plays middle of the road, right? And then there's a big change in the rules and stuff, and you've suddenly become the number one army. How do we feel about that? Hoping
I'm
GW
okay.
listens to us and make Death Guard the number one army.
I'm okay with it because it at the end of the day it is a cyclical thing. So it's no fun if you're never ever ever in the meta ever.
Yeah. To all things, there are a season.
Yeah, and for every time you're in the meta, there's like 95% of the rest of the time that you're Eldar.
I would say that I'd love to see, I'm playing my army and someone goes, that army's number one. And I'll go, okay.
Not the way I play.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I was saying about the Space Wolves. Like that one time I took them to CanCon and they penalized me, claiming my army was super meta cookie cutter. And I was like, is it?
Is that what the old Death Star lists?
It wasn't even a Death Star list. It was just
Yeah.
piles of Grey Hunters. I was like, that's what Space Wolves do.
Yeah.
And that's what I had in my cupboard.
Yeah.
If they're a troops choice, is it?
Well, yeah. That was it. They were like, oh, they're all. You've got a lot of very similar squads. I'm like, yeah, because they're troops. But at the time, they were super powerful, because the Codex had just come out, and they were really good. But yeah, that was kind of like, they were basic infantry. It was weird.
What about you're playing that middle of the range army and something comes out and now you're bottom of the range army? How do you feel about that? Are you going to quit your army and start again?
Well,
why don't you just at the Dark Angels next time?
See, then you paint moustaches on and you say
Death
we
Guard
were
were
the
competitive last
handsomest and
tournament. Sorry, Mark.
Once again.
You didn't hear what I.
No, I didn't.
What you do is you paint moustaches on everything and say you were the handsomest and the bravest.
But, demons, we worked out that they're one of the bottom ones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing them. I know that they suck. But hey, I have fun playing them. Painting them and playing them.
And there can be a lot of fun to have playing a bottom tier or trash tier because if you know that you're not competitive, then you can go wild with what you put on the table and you can create some situations that are much more fun.
Yeah, and you can embrace the dumb shit. Like at one point I was, my most regular opponent was Nathan, and I would lose all the time because he's a better player than me, and so it became a thing that I would stop him from killing my captain in lots of weird ways, different ways every time. I would build armies around keeping the captain alive, not to win, just to stop him killing the captain until the captain fled off the table.
Yeah. I think my first winning with the Death Guard in 10th edition, yes, I won! They're meant to be crap! It was against AdMech, which someone pointed out and said, I don't care! I still won! Yeah. I still love playing Death Guard. I think it all comes down to attitude of what you're playing, right? I like playing Death Guard. I like playing Chaos Knights. I will soon have an actually fully painted one.
I don't like going against Chaos Knights when I bring demons.
Yeah, that was not pretty. Yeah. Rematch? So, bring bigger demons.
They're expensive.
You've got bigger demons.
I do.
Yeah,
Careful, he might bring them.
it's fine. We can look at each other eye to eye.
Yeah, some days you're the Imperial Knights, and some days you're the Imperial Guard.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of lost message I've touched on before with people saying, "Oh, they're so powerful, they're so powerful." Wait for your codex. See what that's when you really can judge how powerful things are. Traditionally, there's always a power creep. So if you were one of the last codexes, you feel the pain now. But when your codex comes out, 11th edition will be out.
And that does often happen, that the later codexes are better, and you can kind of look at it as like, well, this is the reward I get for having an army that sucked for the last 6 months. I get that time in the sun. Doesn't always happen though. Sometimes your codex comes out and it's not very good.
Or they just skip an edition.
Yeah. Oh man, Dark Angels though had a bad codex for something like 8 years or something, like an edition and a half in the old 5-year editions. It was wild.
Fair enough. I don't remember those years, but yeah.
I think we didn't have a 4th edition codex. We had one in 3rd and we had one in 5th.
Ah,
There was no 4th edition, and the 3rd and the one was really bad. So for ages we had a bad codex.
but wasn't the Chaos Marines the one with the longest running old codex?
Yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
3 editions or something, wasn't it?
There was one
ridiculous.
Chaos codex that went for ages.
Yeah.
But
Off track.
that hasn't happened in ages though.
No.
That was kind of like a 4th and 5th and 3rd kind of editions were the ones where you got that weird stuff.
Yeah.
They've tried to correct that since 7th.
Yeah. So, how do they battle meta? What is it? Quarterly is the data slates?
I think it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Think
Yeah.
so. So data
They
slates.
label them. They
Sorry?
label them by the quarter.
Yeah. So data slates released to adjust points, rewrite some rules, tweak some core rules such as towering and the mortal wounds, not mortal wounds, devastating wounds. The challenge with tweaking core rules, it doesn't affect just top tier armies. It can affect
Yeah.
all the
affects
way down.
everybody.
As I said, towering for Imperial Knights. Yeah, that'll slow them down. The Chaos Knights down at the bottom going, but hang on! And devastating wounds. I think that will actually affect Votan with their guns because they had a lot of devastating wounds, if my memory serves. But now they won't splash either.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the devastating wounds change feels like a correction back to how it should work.
Yeah, I don't
Like-
mind it either. Except one of the promises, well, not one of the promises, one of the things, the issues they had in ninth was everything voids your armor. And now we've got that again with the devastating wounds. No armor save allowed whatsoever. So, just make it -6 AP if we can do that again. Alright, what else? Or we can wrap it up. What do you want to talk about meta? Do we like meta players?
I mean,
if they're a nice person and you
Correct.
playing against
Depends
them,
on the person, yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
if they're going to be a what? No.
If again, not calling Dead Again a meta. I know I just got Eldari, and I'm sorry you're a target because you've got Eldari. But I struggle against his Eldari, not because they're top tier is meta, because I haven't worked out how to play against them yet. And that's on me to try and challenge myself to address that. I like that. I don't want to go into a game and go, I'll just do this and I'll win. Doesn't always work that way either way. Yeah.
Nid's giving them hugs worked.
It's not just Warhammer, that is min-max these days. Video games are the same. Yep. Yeah, we touched on that as well. But yeah, the person, not the.
But yeah, I mean, I've thinking on it. We have had some meta players, and some have been fine to play against. Like, you know that their army is crazy good, but it's not. They're not a dick about it, really.
No,
Yeah.
look, what are the top three again? Eldari, Custodes, Imperial Knights.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have players who play all three of those. But not one of them, I would say, they're meta chase. They're just armies they like the lore of. They
They
like the
just
models
happen
of.
to have one that.
Yeah, again, it just comes around in circles. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like I bought a giant Votan army when they came out because they're cool and I've always wanted squats.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I'm a meta chaser despite owning an enormous knight army as well.
You just cover that up while you speak.
But you bought them before they were cool.
No, it's not a meta. It's got so many there. It's not meta chasing. It's meta marathon. Jesus.
Well, actually, the freaking knights, they were always like when they came out, they were good. Like they were crazy. No one knew how to do anything about them when they first came out. Everyone shit their pants. So, you know, even that I can't really argue about that. They were just awesome. Same kind of thing though. I looked at them and I was like, oh yeah, I remember those from bloody Epic 40k. I want to get some of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it depends on the person. You know, they can be a meta player who's got, they constantly change their army, but if they're fun to play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if they've put an Eldari on the table, it doesn't always mean they're meta chasing. They might just like Eldari and have had them for 20 years and enjoy playing them. So don't judge them on that. Sorry, Dead again. I keep saying Eldari. So, Custodes, if they put Custodes down.
Well, yeah, I mean, Eldari are the prime example, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because that's an army that's always been there. Imperial Knights, Custodes, they're all fairly new. I mean, the Custodes did exist back in the day-ish, but they haven't.
They
for a
weren't
long
an
time.
army.
Yeah. They're the newer armies. It's hard to give them the same kind of, oh yeah, I've always played them.
Yeah.
It's like,
But I can understand with the, as you mentioned, with the, not the Voltarans, the Votans. Squats are finally here. Of course people want to pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so any long-term player wanted them.
Well, the question is really, do you still play your Votan, even though the meta has shifted?
Look, that's a good question. Yeah. But that's a good question. People bought Votan at the start, and we talked about people suddenly selling them and stuff, but then there's people who won't. Like Michael here, who's going, no, I bought them because they're dwarves.
Yeah. I brought them because they're cool models, so I kept them.
Well, not all of them cool models.
I'm just looking at the faction win rate of the top ones.
See, that's what we should have had at the start to be prepared and make us look professional. So,
Preparation.
an hour and 20 minutes into it. Thank you, Adam.
Oh no, I just counted how many armies I've got, and not one of them are in the top 5.
What is the top 5? We already know the 3.
Eldari. Well, this is off a Spiky Bits one. And it's Eldari, Genesteel Cults, Imperial Knights, Custodes, Thousand Suns, Chaos Demons at 52% win rate.
But that's what they want. They want that 52-48. That's their market they're trying to get to. Anything above 55, which I think is the... Aren't they close to 60, those 3 at the top?
Eldari's at 67, Genesteel is at
Far out. That's insane.
63, Imperial Knights at 57, and Custodes at 56. Then it's
so
this is how you get balanced.
Yeah.
Thousand Suns at 53, Chaos Demons, but it's a big...
So anything over 60 is...
And then you get down into the 40s, which is there's a very close group in the between 47 and 45.
Yeah.
And then you're just going into the 35 at the bottom.
Which is...
Man, I haven't looked at the
Leagues.
actual numbers. Are like the leagues in the 30s now?
Yes, they are.
35.
But it's alright, you've got your Genestealer cult to balance it out.
I was about to say, I own a Genestealer cult that I haven't used. I
Since
used
the
them to
Slowgrow?
survive the swarm, and I hadn't used them. I think I've used them once, other than that, since the slow grow.
You should be using them all, mate.
I own the meta armies. I just don't use them.
I
Because I'm too
understand.
busy playing dwarves.
I understand why World Eaters are at the bottom because there's not much shooting, so they
No.
just get shot off the table.
It's pretty tough for any close combat based armies at the moment.
I'm quite surprised Grey Knights are at the one of the bottom ones as well.
I'm happy for them to be at the bottom.
Yeah, but they're at 40%. But still,
Yeah.
they're pretty. They can shoot.
So it's a big variance between
Yeah.
top and bottom, and that's where the issue is.
Wasn't Anto saying something about the Grey Knights got hit by the nerfs to the Eldari? Because of the devastating wounds and stuff like that? Didn't he say that affected the Grey Knights as well? Even though the Grey Knights were really low, far down the table to begin with.
Oh yeah, because they always had a save versus mortal wounds because of their psychic connection or something like that. But they never
Yeah,
got
I
that.
don't
I can't remember now.
I don't remember what he said
Yeah.
that was the difference. I'd have to find
They're
it.
gone now. He's moved them on. The reverse of meta chasing. Yeah, he's meta dumped. Yeah. All right, cool. So meta, is it worth it? Quick answers. Meta chasing, is it worth it?
I'm going to say no from my perspective.
Yeah, Adam.
It depends on the way you want to play. It depends on your play style.
Michael.
me-
So it's short. That's why I said short.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a big depends. It doesn't do it for me, but if you're like a dopamine junkie and you just want that, I just want to win.
Yep.
It's a quick way to get it.
Yeah, I think it's So I think it's the type of person who wants to be that win at all costs. I play with my armies because of the armies I want to play.
Yeah.
Yep. And if they win with them, sweet. If they don't win with them, burn them. No.
Yeah,
No,
and-
if I don't win with them, they better explode.
I mean, it's like when some people have said to me, it's like, oh, you've got all this stuff that you don't use. Why don't you sell it? And I'm like, if I wanted to sell it, I wouldn't have bought it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I bought it because
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah. Sonic said they need to rework core rules so they can try to even it out. No. This is the most even core rules we've had because they are core rules. Not everyone has their own special rule that's the same one with a different name. I think this is a much better way of doing it. It's we'll see. We can't really judge it until all the codexes are out. Then you'll see how
I mean, we
Good
kind of
place.
have to judge it before
Oh,
the
we have
codexes
to.
come out. 'cause
we do.
You can't just say we can't judge it.
No,
until
I
the
can't
exhibition
judge it.
comes out.
I'm incapable of doing it. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I mean, they're
We can't have a final
you
judgment.
can
How's that?
judge it. You can judge it after the fact, because then you could go, well, okay, because like, take for instance ninth. We've just come out of ninth,
Yep.
and we know what the balance was like there. And what did we think of that as an addition?
Sorry.
I didn't dislike mine.
So what did we think of ninth as an addition?
I didn't hate it.
Uh,
I thought it got
yeah.
starting to get a bit bloated towards the end, like every edition does. But
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of power creep problem toward, like in the last quarter of the codexes and stuff, but
Hashtag not all editions. Second edition didn't get bloated.
for the most part, I actually really enjoyed ninth,
Yeah.
much more than I thought I would. Even though I couldn't actually find a rule book to buy for it. But anyway.
well, I think 10th is a good edition. I'm enjoying it. It flows well. Yeah. And we'll see what happens next. Death Guard for the meta. Come on. We can do it. We'll start a
Orcs-
petition.
Orcs for the meta.
Right, as long as you get your codex in the last third of the time period of them doing it, then you will be top.
Thank
It's all right.
you.
I've seen some people talking about some really horrible things you can do with Dark Angels, but I haven't done them because they sound awful.
Okay. And that's for the After Dark edition of Wobbly Player Syndrome. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up then. If no one else to say anything more about meta chasers, they're not evil people. They just play the way they want to play in the hobby. How they can do it, I don't know. I just, yeah. Anyway, let's not start again. We're trying to wrap up. Come on! Mark, could you please say goodnight?
Bye, everybody.
Adam,
good night, or good morning, or good evening, or whenever it is that you're listening and watching this.
Thanks, Adam. And it's a good night from me, and I want to say thank you to all the chat for engaging tonight. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it as always. Next month will be an earlier. Hopefully we're back to our normal second Monday of the month recording. And if you do have any topics you'd like to listen to, let us talk about, you feel free to add them to the Discord channel. There is a Wobbly Player Syndrome suggestions. So some hard-hitting topic you've gone, I want you to tell me about storm shields and why they're shaped they are. You can put it up on the Discord channel. I think it'll be a very short.
Chat.
You could send a message to the Facebook account.
You could do that too.
There are ways to talk to us.
There are ways to talk to us. Whether we reply... No, that's not true. You can, of course, follow us on our social media. Instagram is RLG40K. Facebook is RLG40K. And you'll never guess what the YouTube is. That's right, RLG40K. I know, right?
Did we finally get that one, did we?
Yeah, we were able to change it. It was exciting. And no, we don't really do X because...
Yeah.
As I said last week, it confuses me.
Yeah. We don't get it. If you do want to help support the podcast, of course, you can. There's merchandise you can pick up. There is a way to subscribe to the channel directly from our site. If you're listening to this, how can I describe the podcast address? Fill in the gap, someone. Oh, no, not that gap. I just got rid of the screen altogether. That was awesome. wobblyplayersyndrome.buzzsprout.com. That will get you to where all of our episodes of the podcast there, all 66 of them. This one's not there yet, of course. So you can listen to us at the start where we didn't know what we were talking about, all the way up to now where we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Growth.
It's the cycle of life.
We are nothing if not consistent.
Yeah. So I think that's all the advertising we need to do. We'll hand it over to Radio Mike to get us out of here. Good night, folks.
Yes, it's the chase that doesn't end. The chase goes on and on, my friend. Some people started chasing it, not knowing what it was. But they'll continue chasing it forever just because. But you know what else goes on and on? We do! And you can join us next month for more Wobbly Player Syndrome!